What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with a secondary showcase video of going to be Usopp and Yasopp, and we already made a showcase video with the brand new Super Sugo Fest Snake Man from Film Red. Make sure you go ahead and check it out if you guys haven't seen it yet. But in this video, as we said, we're going to go through this brand new legend, and remember that this is not a Super Sugo Fest unit. The Usopp and Yasopp is just a generic legend, so moving forward after the Film Red event concludes, you should be able to pull this character from generic red tickets, from treasure map tickets and stuff, so that's pretty exciting stuff to see. I assume that they will be available in the treasure map tickets moving forward in this month. Not really too sure about that, but of course we're going to go through all of his abilities, give my thoughts and opinions about this guy in his entirety. Now, honestly, I really don't think this is a character that you should really go ahead and chase for. He has some very unique abilities and some really interesting stuff, but this is not a character that's going to hardcore carry you through content. He's just not going to be that character. This character, in my eyes, is like a supplemental character, a unit that you can chuck on a crew that no matter what the situation, he's going to give you enhanced damage potential. And I think that there are a lot of use cases for this guy. I think he's going to be really good in Kizuna Clash whenever you're able to use this guy. And the fact that he is a dual unit, meaning you can switch between Quick and Sai, really good against multiple different types of bosses. This unit is very, very interesting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start breaking him down. So let's go ahead and start things off with their captain abilities. So for Usopp and Yasopp, their captain abilities are essentially the same in terms of attack multiply, 4.75 to shooter and free spirit, the same health boost. However, they will each make a certain slot appear more often and treat that slot as beneficial to those characters. So you've got Usopp, who makes Sai slots matching and makes them appear more often, and then Yasopp with quick slots instead. However, when you combine them into their dual form, they become a 5.25 times captain with a 1.3 health boost, and then the same thing where they make Quick and Sai slots matching and makes Quick and Sai appear more often. However, they all have a really unique effect in their captain ability, which states that whenever you are inflicted with damage, you will automatically delay the enemy through all, status effects, which is crazy, right? That's a really unique ability that this character has, very reminiscent of versus Akainu. Whenever he takes damage, he inflicts the enemy with the ignited status, and it does go through immunity buffs as well. However, the ignite status is probably a little bit more useful in this circumstance here, because there aren't too many situations where you're going to go out of your way to stall a turn, tank a hit, and then get them delayed. However, there can be really cool circumstances where an enemy in their preemptive attack will do damage to you, and that will automatically proc, delaying the enemy. And that's really cool, because then you can go ahead and activate a conditional boost against enemies that like to be delayed, right? So that's really cool in ways that you can use this guy, but the thing is his special ability already kind of provides that. So I think that this component of his captain ability, delaying whenever you take damage, I really think it's going to be underutilized, and I would have preferred it if that part of the captain was changed to something else. I just am not a big fan of this effect in the captain, because it's kind of useless and you're never really going to see it really shine. So a little bit underwhelmed in terms of the captain abilities. It would have been nice if there was something extra added here, because if I'm going out of my way to build, let's say, a shooter team, there is no way I'm going to be using this guy as a captain over someone like Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo, unless if the content literally has zero defensive effects that I have to worry about, and then this guy would be better because of the more matching slots that you would encounter. But in a lot of circumstances, Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo are probably going to be the more ideal shooter captain. However, of course, you do have access to the fact that it is a Free Spirit captain as well, and Free Spirit already have quite a lot of competition for team building as a captain, that is, so I don't really see this guy being used all that much as a captain. We can now go ahead and have a look at this man's special ability. So the special is very interesting, where it provides a 1250 base attack boost to shooter and free spirit characters, and it will give you a 2.25 times conditional boost against delayed enemies. And then he also goes on to say that if there are delayed enemies on the field when you launch the special, he extends the duration of the delay that they are inflicted with. I believe this is the first character in the game that has been able to do this. However, the actually extended extension of the delay is not that useful either, because the conditional boost that you get from this character special is only a 1-turn conditional. This would make a lot more sense if the conditional boost was a 2 or 3 turn conditional, where, you know, you could get that effect to launch over multiple different turns if you need multiple turns to kill an enemy. However, it's just not the case, so I'm not really the biggest fan of the extending of delay. Once again, a component of this character's special that is a little underutilized, and I think would have been way better if it was able to be replaced with some other type of ability. Would have been nice if this character was able to provide, you know, matching slots as a crewmate. I think would be kind of fascinating if they did something along those lines. However, it does go on to state that if your captain is a shooter or a free spirit character, then he will guarantee delay all enemies, ignoring status effects, which is the very, very key thing here, because it means as long as you have a shooter or free spirit captain, whatever team this character is in, his special ability is going to delay them no matter what and give you that conditional boost. So I really do like that too, where this character is sort of unique in that fashion, where there aren't too many specials that you'll encounter that, you know, give you a guaranteed, you know, conditional boost. That's very, very valuable. And also on top of that, providing 1250 base stat bonus to those two classes too. So these unique abilities that you don't see too often, while they seem a little bizarre in a special like this, in the grand scheme of things, there are a lot of good orb boosters, lots of good attack boosters, and there's heaps of color affinity boosters now. So this character can slot into a lot of different teams to provide different types of boosts for your crew. But once again, it is a little bit of a shame that this character doesn't provide the conditional boost for multiple turns, and the extension of the delay in their special is a component of their special that I really dislike. The last component that we need to discuss of this character is their switch effect. The switch effect is kind of interesting, where it applies a minus 15% resistance down to all enemies that include shooter and free spirit characters alone. So meaning that if you have a character that is a shooter and a free spirit, then that minus 15% will stack together. So that's actually very, very key, and a lot of people kind of overlook that. The only thing about that is there aren't that many characters that are good, that are both shooter and free spirit. The only ones that really come to mind would be like Frankie characters, or like Ace, for example. There are a couple of Aces that are free spirit and shooter, but, you know, then there's not too many that would be utilized with a character such as this. But it is nice either way, where if you have that type advantage, this Usopp and Yasop getting that free spirit and shooter resistance down is going to be quite key. But as for the other abilities, it changes their own slot into matching, and it will completely remove their own paralysis and despair. So I'm not really the biggest fan of this utility effect in their switch effect either, because removing their own paralysis is it doesn't really matter too much, because, you know, it doesn't really matter when the whole crew is still inflicted with paralysis and you have one character that can attack. I mean, that's cool and all. If this reduced like the whole crew's paralysis by 1 turn, that would be phenomenal. Or just the whole crew's despair by 1 turn would also be very good. Considering there is so much competition for shooter or free spirit captains now, I really don't like this type of switch effect, because, you know, if you basically have to make sure that you don't launch this character special so that you can use their switch effect to remove despair on your crew. You know, sometimes you'll use their special in a mini-boss stage, and then when you get to the final stage, you're already despaired, so you can't use their switch effect to remove that despair debuff that is inflicted to you. So I just think that there was a little bit of oversight in terms of the design of this character's switch ability. And then we need to talk about their super switch effect, which you'll get after 6 swaps, and 6 swaps is a little excessive in my eyes. I think that for what they do, it really should be a lot less, but instead of providing minus 15% to shooter and free spirit, they provide minus 30%, so that's obviously massive, providing that. And then remember that if you actually have a secondary super swap with Usopp and Yasop, that will provide an additional 30% on top of that. And remember, if a character is shooter and free spirit, that they get all of those buffs as well from both types of resistance downs. So that would mean it's like minus 60% for shooter and free spirit, which is actually doubled because Usopp and Yasop count as both of those characters. So it's essentially like a 2.2 times boost to the character if you activate both super switches at the same time. So it's an incredibly powerful ability, but of course, you know, there aren't that many characters that are both shooter and free spirit to get the most out of that, but nonetheless, it is an incredible ability. And then once again, very, very similar utility, removing their own paralysis and despair. Unfortunately, it doesn't remove any for the crew, but then it also changes their own slot and adjacent slots into matching. So the orb swap is kind of a nice addition as well. You know, we respect what it does, but ultimately, I think that this switch ability is mainly going to be used to provide just a little bit of bonus damage with the resistance down, and the fact that resistance down does go through all immunity buffs is also incredibly powerful, being able to stack that with essentially every other buff that you launch, and why I further agree to the fact that this character is going to be very good in Kizuna clashes where you have a free slot and you need something to give you additional damage. This is a perfect character to use, providing base attack boost, a guaranteed conditional boost, and now resistance down to 2 separate classes. So if you're running a shooter or a free spirit team, this is probably a character you want to run just to give you additional bonus damage whenever you need it. But in the grand scheme of things, it is a little unfortunate that this character's captain ability, in my opinion, really doesn't hold up too well. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Usopp and Yasop down below in the comment section. Really hope you guys did enjoy this one though. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.
Ikra!